Today I'll be speaking about the differences between Switzerland and Texas. So I asked my friends on Snapchat to go send me some topics to talk about, and thank you to everyone who sent me questions and topics to talk about today. I'm really excited for this video because y'all sent some awesome questions, and I hope y'all get to know some of the differences between Switzerland and Texas. Also, I haven't gotten a chance to upload yesterday's vlog yet because I want to show y'all some of my old skateboarding videos at the Freestyle Academy. So I'll try to get my vlog done as soon as possible, and it should be out sometime this week. A lot of people want to know what is the difference between food and the food proportions we have here in Switzerland compared to Texas. The quote, "everything is bigger in Texas," is really accurate because even the meal portions are huge compared to Switzerland. One of my favorite examples is at Whataburger. If you get a medium cup, that thing looks huge to Swiss people. So in Switzerland, that size would be like an extra large. And we don't get free refills. There's also a much bigger variety of restaurants and fast food places to eat in Texas. If you want to eat fast food in Switzerland, we only have McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, and we're soon getting a KFC. So all four options aren't really that great. My favorite two places in Texas were Whataburger and Chick-fil-A. But I guess we do eat healthier here in Switzerland because we don't have as much fast food and smaller meal proportions, and everything's so much more expensive, so you automatically eat less. Me personally, I don't like to go shopping very much. When my Swiss friends came to visit me, they went home with so many clothes. That's because in the US you have a much bigger variety. I mean, we do have all the Nike and Adidas and all the brand names here too, but you just have a much bigger variety over there. Plus, the stores are also much cheaper than here in Switzerland. What I also really love about Texas is going to outlet malls because you can get the brand clothes for a much cheaper price than at usual stores. Switzerland is 17 times smaller than Texas. But Texas only has 3 times as many people living in there. I live in a very small village. We have about 2,000 people living here, and it's really more like a farmer's village. We have a couple of farmers here. A small Swiss village like mine usually has 1 train station, a very small grocery store, 1 or maybe 2 restaurants, 1 school, and that's about it. So for me, just living in Berney, which has about 5 times as many people, to me, I thought you had a lot more stuff to do inside of Berney. You have nice and pretty parks, you have the Cibolo Nature Center, you have great restaurants to eat at and fast food. You don't really get that in a Swiss village. When I go out in the evening with my friends, we basically just walk around town and hang out with each other and talk. That's all you can do in a Swiss village pretty much. But you can take a train to the next big city, which is only about 10 minutes away from here, and there you have a bigger variety of stuff to do. I feel like here in Switzerland I'm kind of limited to what I want to do in my free time. I feel that in Texas you can do so much more stuff. Now, people from Berney might say you can't do much at night in Berney except to go to Whataburger because that's the only thing that's open. You can drive into San Antonio and do a lot of different stuff. And if I drive to the next big city, even then I can't do much over here. I feel like schools in Switzerland are harder than high schools. I've got to now experience both, and high school in Texas was really easy for me. I don't know what's the difference, but I feel in Switzerland school is just harder. I know if there's just more homework or the tests are harder, you need to study more. I don't know what makes it harder, but it's just harder over here. But our schools over here don't offer any sports. So the sport that you want to play, you need to join outside of school. You need to join a club to go play it, like I do for football. I really loved how the high schools offer you your sport that you want to play, because while you're playing, you can represent your high school, which I think is an amazing thing. And I think because in high school you have all these different sports that you can play and represent your school, that's why there's a lot more school spirit than Swiss schools, because Swiss schools have zero school spirit, which is really sad. I love school spirit. I had a great time at Bernie, just going to the pep rallies and to the varsity football games and baseball and basketball. It was a great time. I really miss it. I got a lot of people asking me what was the biggest difference between high school football in Texas and football here in Switzerland. First of all, high school football in Texas is a religion. I really felt like that was true, and I heard a lot of people talking about it. There are really towns in Texas that shut down on a Friday night during football season, so the entire town gathers at the stadium to watch that game, which I think is amazing. But the biggest difference between football in Switzerland and Texas is the amount of practice you have. In Switzerland, you have practice twice a week. In Texas, you have practice twice a day during football season. During my time in Texas, I got to get my driver's license because I was 16 already. Here in Switzerland, I still need to wait at least a full year until I turn 18 to start getting my driver's license. As I mentioned before, I feel like you have less of a variety of stuff to do in your free time here in Switzerland than in Texas. So not only is the variety a problem, but also the prices. Going to the movies in general isn't cheap, but here in Switzerland it does cost about $20. I'd say that Switzerland has most animals that Texas also has, but we definitely don't have any longhorns, roadrunners, tarantulas, or any creepy spiders, or armadillos. The music my friends listen to in both countries are pretty much the same. Both listen to a lot of rappers that I don't like these days. I prefer old school hip hop like Tupac and even Run DMC, rest in peace Prodigy. But what we definitely do not listen to in Switzerland, which I think is sad, is country music. I've already fallen in love with country music before I went to Texas, and now I got to know so many new singers and bands and songs, which is amazing. So I really love listening to country. One of the biggest differences you'll know between Texas and Switzerland is the weather. So the 10 months I was in Bernie, Texas, the entire time I was pretty much walking in shorts and a t-shirt. Once in a while I need to wear some jeans or a sweatshirt, but other than that, I was walking around with shorts and t-shirts the entire year. Now over here, you can only walk in shirts and t-shirts during the summertime. Already towards the end of August, it starts to cool down and you feel that winter is slowly coming. And it snows a lot here in Switzerland and it gets really cold and stays cold for a long time. I really enjoy just being in shorts and t-shirts the entire year in Texas. But then again, the Texas heat, especially in August during football season, is pretty bad. It doesn't get as hot in Switzerland. We get up to about 90, maybe about 95. But the problem is, most houses don't have air conditioning. I don't know why we don't have air conditioning here in Switzerland. Most grocery stores don't even have it. But sometimes in the US, they use air conditioning a little too much. Some of my classes in high school, I was freezing in them. I need to take a jacket to every class. Sometimes Texans overdo it with the AC. I must say that Swiss drivers are much better than Texas drivers for the reason that we drive much safer over here. On a Texas highway, especially going into San Antonio or Houston, that can be scary a lot because so many people are driving way faster than they should. Some vehicles shouldn't be even on the road the way that they look. And a lot of people don't even use their blinkers, which really pisses me off. In Switzerland, almost everyone uses their blinkers, which I think is great. They go the speed limit, and so driving on the highway feels much calmer. But our parking spaces are very small compared to those in Texas. That's why you always see small cars in Europe in general. You rarely see any big trucks or SUVs, which I love trucks. So whenever I see a truck here in Switzerland, I get super excited. People from Texas are the nicest people I've ever met. And just talking to a total stranger is super normal in Texas. You can be very friendly with them and it almost feels like you got a new best friend in like 10 seconds. I really miss the friendly people in Texas. So yeah, as y'all can see, I feel like life in Texas is better. Don't get me wrong, Switzerland is great, but it just ain't Texas. So I hope you got to learn some of the differences between Switzerland and Texas, and I really hope that I can show y'all these differences in my vlogs in the future. I can't wait to go back to Texas, and God bless Texas.